morning and welcome to the Monday edition of the number one breakfast show, television inside Nigeria. My name is Winifred, and it sure feels good to be hosting you on today's program. With me in the studio, as you can see, is a political scientist, he's also a public affairs analyst, Aliu Elias. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you for having
You are
me.
looking sweet, by the way.
Thank
And I am
you.
looking great.
Thanks so much.
So, viewers, as you can see, we have an array of newspapers on our table for review and discussion this morning. And of course, also as usual, the program we always flag up with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership. Leadership is leading with the story on this APC National Assembly consensus. It's been, like call it war from all intending senators for that number one seat, that is Senate President. And while other papers are reporting that the president-elect is supporting Tinubu, others allege otherwise. Let's see what leadership is saying. Leadership says APC NAS consensus was a veteran Jaji Soli on war path with party. APC NAS consensus, that is APC National Assembly consensus, was a veteran Jaji Soli on war path with party. Full 287-member alliance for speakership. North Central poised for war. Gbajabiamila Faleke disagree over interests. Obi urges Labour Party caucus to back choice aspirants. Tinubu should be neutral. In quote. That's the leading story on leadership. And apart from leadership, other papers also have same similar story on as their lead story this Monday. This day. This day says 10th National Assembly, APC National Working Committee meets today to ratify consensus zoning. 10th National Assembly, APC National Working Committee meets today to ratify consensus zoning. Leadership also worsens as 68 senators elect reject deal. Group wants Tinubu party not to plug selves into crisis. Southeast senators caution president-elect against injustice. ACF dissociates self from ex-Niger Delta ministers' endorsements. That's the leading story on this day. And before we do justice to that story, I'm also seeing a picture of Wole Soyinka, Nobel laureate winner, Professor Wole Soyinka, and Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, as he visited the Nobel laureate winner. Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka left and Labour Party presidential candidate during the latest visit to Soyinka yesterday. It's very, very instructive. Now, before we discuss the leading story on this day and leadership, the nation also has similar story. Let's see what nation sees today. Senate, House, APC National Working Committee to ratify zoning plan today. Senate, House, APC National Working Committee to ratify zoning plan today. That's the leading story on the nation. And of course, the rider says APC Northwest Chairman OK Akpabio Barao. APC Northwest Chairman OK Akpabio Barao. Yari won't support consensus candidates. Southeast senators elect reject zoning to South. That's the leading story on the nation. Just like this day and leadership.
No.
What is actually happening?
Well, it is quite expected that there will be fireworks, and the
Yes.
fireworks has just begun. The fact remains that there is expected to be agitation. And
Yes.
you know that Nigeria went into different geopolitical
Zone.
zone, and everyone wants to canvass for opportunity to lead. When you lead, it brings some advantage to your zone. However, there are some zones that have not yet lead. They are saying now it is our turn to lead. Just like Akpabio South said since is it Joseph Wires also since that time that should be far should be Second Republic also. Since Second Republic, they have not lead. Now it is their time to lead. And you agree with me that the Southeast have led in this
yes. I think you were the one that pointed it out.
Exactly. So actually, all the states have benefited from that perspective. So it is expected, and now it's like Akpabio is finding it much more easier. He's getting endorsement from one place or the other.
But on the Akpabio's being the consensus candidate, I read the report over the weekend which says that actually that the president-elect has not actually given him that 100% backing. What the president-elect demanded was that, let me see if you have senators backing you.
You know, president.
So that was what happened. That was what played out in Port Harcourt.
You see, we have to be careful with this president-elect. He's a pure party man who understands democracy.
Yes.
So he will never come out and say, I choose you, I select you.
Yes.
He will not do that.
He
will push it to your own. He will push it to your own people. Go and tell them. Now, what you will now use that you will now start engaging those people behind this person and this one. It won't go from, because you know what? By the time he comes out and said, I want to, it becomes a battle. So as a leader and a party man, you must be able to be careful while choosing who you actually want. So but from all indication, Akpabio has much more opportunity.
The report also said that, I've not even finished. The report also said that actually the person that the president-elect actually wants or wanted is Oshomole. Only that Oshomole, it's not a rank, he just came in the first time in the Senate, and that is the dilemma.
What happened during Obasanjo government will likely happen this time.
Okay,
whereby you have a particular senator, and within 1 year, they find way of pushing him out. Other person take the position. They put exactly before you know, it's quite possible. I know Oshomole is from the south too. So what they will only do is that during that period they will amend the law that anybody, no matter how first or how old you are, anyone can become the Senate. So that's, but you know that actually having an Oshomole as a Senate president is always their ally. Thank you. And he has always done.
Also done
as a chairman of APC. Then you can see he galvanized a lot.
No, but he doesn't have that temperament.
No, don't worry now. His colleagues will bring him to size.
No matter what you say about the Senate president, I want to see the way he has been able to provide, rein in senators.
He's the most experienced Senate president. Exactly. He was in House of Rep. He was in Senate consecutively. So he has understood the. However, it's about party.
And the position fits him so well.
I don't want to agree with you. It fits every senator.
Just like we had with David Mann too. It was the same.
What I'm just trying to say is that
the way he was able to, carry the people along.
Bukola was also a very good senator.
Oh yes.
So the thing is that whoever that sits on that seat will have the temperament and the candor to take over the seat. But Akpabio has much more opportunity. You know what? Akpabio have sacrificed over time. That's what people do not see. And beyond politics, there's some private business Akpabio also have with Lagos people. So it makes them to have much more confidence in him. And apart from that, you see that a lot of senators are endorsing him already. So that means he's a party man, and he has been able to mend fences over time. For a Kano man to be endorsing Akpabio, for him from Northeast to be endorsing Akpabio, he has much more endorsement. Because if you look at who is the contender now, you could say even David Umahi have also endorsed Akpabio. The body language of Ojus Okalu also is endorsing.
No, you see what this paper said to
right.
The Daily Sun. The Daily Sun said Southeast senators demand Senate president seat. Hinge claim on justice, fairness, equity. Advised Tinubu against adopting current government policy of excluding zone from power equation. APC Senate caucus splits.
Well, you expect, you know that one thing we cannot take from the eastern part of Nigeria, they are good at agitation. even if their person becomes senator, they will also be fighting the person for another person from the same zone to come. You could see that south, they all queue behind Akpabio. You will see a lot of jostling and what have you. Everybody has got the concept of people he needs, and everybody is behind him. But I read a communique that was read out by Southeasterners. They said they prefer Izuna Azor, they don't prefer Ojus or Kalu, and they don't prefer David Umai. That's the division.
David Umai is also even a
you don't even need to bring it out. Go your home, call your senators, they have numbers, engage them and say, people.
And the sweet part of it is that we're not going to have all this opposition actually, because you will see that the Labour Party from the rider on leadership's main cover story said Obi urges Labour Party caucus to back choice aspirants. Choice aspirants.
No, but that's what
they prefer. It's not the one that you ring in your candidate and say, no, you must vote for particular person. Don't do this one.
As much as Labour Party want to remain for long, they need to even support the current party to an extent. You know why? It's politics. Now the middle person still remain PDP, and Labour Party is looking at how to really take that second position. So they have to trade off. It's politics. You have to trade off some things to get something. So if they could work with the ruling party to an extent, you know that National Assembly politics is different from Nigerian politics. Once you get into National Assembly, either as a senator or as a House of Rep, you have to do politics within, not outside politics. So sometimes your party will tell you don't follow this person. You will look at your party and no, this is Nigeria and this is who. So I expect
that is what has been playing. Yes. But you see that they will still go and back.
Exactly.
Like for instance that House of Rep female, I was from Lagos that time when PDP brought her out for speakership. You saw that some even PDP members now joined and supported VANGUARD. That's what I meant. And I agree with you.
Yes, and that's how it should be. Then, if Labour Party is not smart enough, NNPP is going to have smart them. NNPP. NNPP have relationship with PDP and APC. Their leader. And their leader is very smart. So if NNPP find way of joining, they are like 20, they have like 70 or so. If they join APC does not need any opposition party again. So
they're carrying the day.
Exactly, because once 70 people join them, they already have the. And they will only say Jubril Amin is very experienced. Will give you chairman. He was a financial man on appropriation before. Yes, they will not say let's give you a juicy and he's a ranking House of Rep member. Take this big.
Shouldn't he be in contention because of his number?
Well, he can be in contention.
Because of his number.
But PDP will not allow him. PDP is more bigger. PDP have over 60, over 108.
But it's from that party.
If he join PDP, he's going to lose more. It's better he join APC. APC are the ruling. He was until he got elected. He was a chairman for Federal Housing Authority.
Yes.
Board chairman.
Yes.
So as a board chairman, I think he's still enjoying that office now. So the board chairman, so don't think you will leave these people. APC. He has also gone to visit Tinubu to say, Oga, he was a spokesperson for Tinubu before his Oga called him. What is his name? What is the leader of NNPP? Kwankwaso now invites him. He said he won't get it. And again, now he's a House of Rep member. So if he's a spokesperson, they didn't give him a ticket that time in APC, remember? Until he went to so it was a spec. So he's always.
Before prior to this one, when he even
he has more influence.
He said he was not going to contest it, and he didn't contest it.
Yes, but he has more influence that you can't take away from him. So then the opposition party should be careful of him too. He can trade them off for his own interest. That's politics. He will say, "Don't go like this, go like that," and he will just let you go.
Someone played hard during that time when he was asked committee on.
Yes, now he was. He canvassed.
He was not loggerheads with Educada.
Exactly. He was even the one that canvassed for Bajabi Amina. Remember now, to become as of the speaker. So he has very good relationship with APC, and I'm sure he will not want to trade off that relationship with them, which is very, very clear. Then let's just look at other people contending for speakership. It's another thing we have to look at. APC has not gotten that right at all. A lot of agitation. You can see Gandhi, you can see Wase, you can see Bitara, you can see Jaji. A lot of them are coming. So now the only major thing is that they have to come out today because they are going to a meeting now. They have to come out. Are we zoning it to south and north west or north central? They have to come out physically and come out plainly and say yes, it's for north central. So it is for the north central that is now between Gandhi and Wase. now there's a man that is laying claim. I saw him there.
Yeah.
Abbas, this
Yeah.
Abbas Tajuddin.
Okay.
Abbas Tajuddin is from Kaduna and he's
Mm.
from Zaria. He's saying that he's more, in fact, they are calling him the anointed one, which
Wow.
I know that is not correct. Because he also came out on the one television flagship program yesterday and said, no, he's not anointed. But it has been out that he's anointed because he has a lot of more views and more video about 20 has been accepted to by Muhammadu. And he's a third time House of Rep member. So Northwest and North Central is the major thing now. But for me, I think he should come to North Central. In as much as these people are just, they are the one holding the presidency as of now. So the deputy Senate president can easily go to Northwest. That's how to balance it. You understand? And the deputy speaker can also go to Southeast too. So that's how.
Deputy speaker.
Yes, can go to yes. You know, this man is agitating. This spokesperson for House of Rep, Ben something, one Igbo guy like that is just his spokesperson. So he's much more likely to get deputy speaker. So he's so sure that the speaker is coming from the north. We wouldn't know if he's North Central or Northwest. But for me, if I'm to choose as an individual, I'll prefer Gandhi because Gandhi has a very good background. He also have a lot of build and presented too. And apart from that, he has that vibrancy. It won't be rubber stamp as we see because if you give it to Wase will definitely be more of a rubber stamp. I just want to say that
so?
In my own view, I think so. But if you give it to someone like it's very vibrant, very intelligent, they want to see things happening. Not people that will relax and said, but they want to see things happening and see Nigeria progressing. Very,
thank you so much on that. NAS consensus or NAS interview on leadership positions. We move over to the other stories trending today, and of course, I want us to look at this mass air incident that happened yesterday. And leadership captured the mass air incident. Passengers stranded over closure of Abuja runway. Passengers stranded over closure of Abuja runway, and of course, this day says. Over 143 passengers escaped death as Max Air crash lands in Abuja. Over 143 passengers escaped death as Max Air crash lands in Abuja.
On the issue of Max Air,
we also have we also have on the Punch newspaper, passengers stranded, flights grounded as federal government shuts Abuja runway.
Right, we must.
And the Guardian says flight disruption in Abuja as Max Air loses landing wheel. And of course, Blueprint says panic as plane crash lands at Abuja airport. I overheard that, in fact, when the plane took off, that was when the tire came down. And of course, that how do you call it, made a call to the air hostess, alerting her to let the pilot know so that he can call in for
rescue by the time he's landed.
Hostess did not do that.
Well, the fact just remains that we must commend NCAA. It's quite some time that we hear this type of bad news concerning our flights. And they have been on them, making sure that they do the right thing. I think if there's a gap somewhere, I think they must be called to order and it must be investigated. What happened? Is it the person who loses that does not fix it? Is it that thing has gotten old to that extent that it could cause damage? Because look at 1.3 passengers.
143.
It could be a bigger bad news for Nigeria, but thank God that was so. It should be investigated appropriately, and there should be appropriate sanction. Why the air hostess does not communicate appropriately? So I think that's a very, very big issue because it wasn't easy. It was.
In fact, it would have been a black Saturday Sunday for everybody. Because
a black year itself.
At least for long now, we've not heard of
exactly. Even across the globe, it's quite military issues, and it could be. We are not taking that for granted as well, but we know that one is in the course of training now. But this one is just a commercial aircraft that needs to be monitored very, very well to make sure that this kind of thing does not. Then when you look at the aviation industry too, they are also losing and it because of the fuel, aviation fuel. So a lot of things is coming because we expected that as at now a country like Nigeria should have more flights, that will be moving, but because of the aviation flight and other bureaucratic bottleneck, we're having more challenges, and we're also waiting for almighty Nigeria Air.
But Nigeria Air is having
Partnership.
issues, legal issues, because as we speak, the airline operators went to court to prevent the federal government, who had already signed the MOU with Ethiopia Air to start flying.
But what's the legal issue all about? Why?
That's why they went to court, that they know that obviously they felt that they're supposed to be given the first right of a refusal or something.
Okay,
like
concerning that, I think that what you are
doing,
doing
something that the federal government had published
over time.
That look at what we are going to do, but they just kept quiet, only for the federal government to go ahead with Ethiopian Air. At the end of the day, they found their voices.
Well, let's just even, but
the government should rescind.
Even let's come to be realistic. Is there any airline in Nigeria that can stand Ethiopian Air?
We have some airlines that are picking up.
No, they are not institutionalized. They're not institutionalized like Ethiopian. Remember that Ethiopian government business is even that airline.
Yes.
Their major source of income is farming and that airline. So they are much more institutionalized and they are robust.
So sweet.
In fact, they have their catering and what have you. Nigeria does not have such. So no airline can really stand that. So and I think it's a good idea for us to have a partnership over time before we can be on our own. Because our major problem for Nigeria Air is always management.
Airline operators in Nigeria, they don't see it as so, because the case is still in court, and of course
let them do their own very well.
The case have been monitoring, and even adjoined even after handing over. So
let them do.
Even though this Sirika keeps insisting that they must fly before the government of the day exists, but I don't know how possible that will be. But be that as it may, we can only thank God that at least
we have
was averted.
Honestly, it's a very good one. Even those people involved by now, it will still be in their body. They need to because it's not easy. You remember there was one airline also that they said the door opened on the during that period. People that were in that airline up to now, they still have they used to remember that
psychological.
So God, I thank you that you made me to be alive, bro. So a lot of things to look at. Then
but there's sharing news too for us. Like today, let's look at this day. This day says Dangote, my refinery can save Nigeria $10 billion in foreign exchange, generate another $10 billion in exports. That is this day newspaper today. What a cheering news. Dangote, my refinery can save Nigeria $10 billion in foreign exchange, generate another $10 billion in exports. Task incoming administration on public-private partnership.
Right. It's very, very cheering. The more cheering it is that Buhari is going to launch it by May 22nd.
Sort of a subsidy Damocles hanging over our heads. Saying that we are going to remove the subsidy. We are going to.
But interestingly,
but he didn't tell us when it's going to come out.
No, but Buhari is going to commission it by May 22nd.
By May 22nd.
That's very interesting.
That is very interesting.
If I thought they cannot start in full capacity,
but
an extra. In Nigeria, hearing alone affects the market.
Yes,
it's very good to come to their senses and say no, things are coming.
As far as I'm concerned, this is the cherry.
So now the fact is that Buhari is preparing by 22nd of this month to launch the commission the refinery, and I'm sure light production will start. But that's expected. You can have such humongous projects and not affecting the economy. It will definitely affect the economy. And Nigerians will work there. That's another thing. By the time about 1,000 people is working. And 1,000 people calculate by household. No, just calculate. You have to multiply it by 5, because one Nigerian that is working is like taking care of about 5 Nigerians. If you have one person working in family, it will take care of like 5 people. That's always a problem.
I didn't have such a luxury.
But that's how it used to be.
From my parents.
But that's how it used to be. The
world
is changing now.
Nobody took care of
the world is changing now. Because every household has unemployment. So when there is unemployment, anyone who got that employment, everybody will bank on the because your parents, that's 2 of them will be on you, and you want to take care of your younger ones so that they can really achieve. So it's a cheering news and very good news.
I see how much you are going to save generate, we'll save $10 billion and generate another
It will
$10
make our
billion.
FX balance more.
Yes,
At least
exactly.
if we can have
Which is force
yes, exactly. Because others are working, others are trying, but we need a major one like this that will push. So a big push like this will make sure things come to normalcy. I know it's a foreign exchange, it's international. So,
yes.
but the only thing is that we hope as it's producing locally, it will sell for us at local price.
Yes,
That's our
we
hope.
also hope so.
That's
And then
our
one
hope.
other thing, anyway, of course, something that is going to be resolved between the federal government and the Dangote, because you wonder how much is it going to be. The federal government is going to also be selling the crude to him at international rates.
No,
Is it not?
no. You will recall that Dangote itself from source condition Nigeria that if the federal government does not have 20% of this refinery,
We have.
listen now. He said he will not be buying crude oil from Nigeria. That is as though he has choice of going anywhere global, but because they have acquired 20%, we have the right to sell crude oil to Dangote directly. Do you get that's the beauty of it?
Yes. What I'm saying is that we are selling to him at international rate or
Well, it depends.
It
can't be international rate because you are not transporting it. The transport level is not like before. So I think it's left to them now. What I'm trying to say is that if we sell to my international rate, we will also sell to domestic and international rate. So there could be a consideration.
Okay, at the end of the day, what happens is that at least he's saving us from import, just like what he said, from importing. We refine our crude outside the country and bring it in. That's what is causing these subsidy rates and all those stuff. So who will not be doing that?
No. It depends on the agreement. He wants to also sell at international because he wants to make profit.
That means so we're also going to give him a diet.
That's why I say we now use our own to control it. Nigeria can use his the sales of it price and condition him also that he will not sell to us at international. So it's better.
Okay,
so exactly that's what should happen. And then please you enter everybody out. If I think it's $86, we are selling to you at $50. But even if for you to sell fuel to is so amount, you also have to bring it down, and that is good for the economy because when you produce locally and consume locally, it helps a whole lot. So we'll not go to the jail.
But my own take is that even if he has to sell at whatever rate, the fact that it's also going to bring down the price for us because the fact that we are no longer building into it the export, the money we're using to export it before.
Well, you are looking at the equalization of it, as in the balancing. That is the transportation you are looking at.
Yes,
but in the global market, sometimes you don't consider that. You just want to consider global market. So you are the one that know how you are going to take your own take your vessel there.
The Boa refinery in Akwa Ibom is also going to take us through next year also.
Okay, refinery, right?
Yes,
that's a good one. And also Edo refinery too. I saw that they are demanding for 200,000 something today. They are also refinery like you discussed that time.
Unfortunately, it's not even enough to serve the people of Edo State.
No matter what, it's not necessary. If it can serve 3 local government, let us have plenty of it like that.
Even during that scarcity, they were even buying at a higher rate. And of course, I was so appalled to hear that the modular refinery was already working. Didn't have
we need to have enough. I think having enough modular refinery, if we can have like 30 modular refinery, I think it will help.
And that is something that Niger Delta could have done.
Each state of them, but I think there is a law now that will allow them to do that. Each state can definitely. I mean,
and thank God for the oil that is being discovered in some other states.
A lot. Kogi is now so.
What about Nasarawa?
Nasarawa, I'm not sure it's commercial for now. I'm not. They have not joined the league itself. The Gombe. It's only Kogi that have joined them now. I know they say they want to. NDDC also say they want to be building. They want to. Because of last weekend. Last weekend they had a meeting in Lagos that they want to build rail across all the Niger Delta. These are the kind of things that we want. And it's public-private partnership. Because they've gotten a lot of money that we don't see. So if they have the take-off money and the private come in to invest, it will help all the. And by the time they do it, it will boost the economy of that environment.
It will definitely boost the economy. Well, viewers, this Cherry News. On this Cherry News, we are ending the first segment of our breakfast show this morning inside Nigeria. When we come back, we'll be looking at other papers we have on our menu for discussion today. Don't go away. Stay tuned.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Welcome back. In case you're just joining in, the program is Inside Nigeria, reaching you on Leadership Television. And with me in the studio has been political scientist Aliu Elias. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you
And
for
of course, we are still coming back with Leadership newspaper, Nigeria's most influential newspaper. It says Presidential Tribunal begins hearing today. Presidential Tribunal begins hearing today.
That's
Today
very.
that Nigerians have been waiting for.
Everybody is.
Interesting.
What is even quite sad is that it's not what we can watch live on TV.
Yeah,
And
you
Nigeria
know,
are agitating that they should be transmitted
and
live.
they
So
feel that being transmitted live will put the judges on this.
they did not even declare the judges until this. They have not even. They didn't declare the judges.
Okay,
Nobody know the judges.
the
It's
judges,
today
yeah.
that they will know the judges.
Okay.
You know, before they would have tell us the judges, but they said they don't want pressure on that judges. But I think that is counterproductive. You know why? By the time you declare them today, they still have about 90 days. So
But are you seeing it as an exercise in futility? Because you just said that, so they feel that Nigerians feel that at the end of the day, they will not say the president elect should vacate office. Is that it cannot be done?
It's quite
It's already cast in stone.
not cast in stone, but if you look at even the cases in court, you know, we have 5 political parties that took them to court on different reasons, and some reasons does not need testament. It doesn't need people to come and testify. Why some, you know, like the one of Peter Obi, who says that President Buhari, Tinubu elect does not have 25%.
Yes, they don't have 30 years.
You know that statement is it's a legal tussle, because you can fight it the other way.
A Supreme Court decision.
But for me, I think even the answer is there ab initio. It just depends that we want to just exercise the court process itself. Because when they say on a layman, when they say 25%, including FCT, you know, when they are saying 36 states and FCT, it does not exclude FCT from Nigeria. It's still part of Nigeria.
But they said there were precedents that Supreme Court was actually ruled on that.
That's what?
And that is separate.
What I'm saying is that you don't look at
Yaradua and Buhari, President Buhari, Obasanjo and same Buhari, and the Supreme Court had already given
that what
only that is separate.
It's separate.
Yes.
I don't because
you
know why?
Reading. No,
you don't no. We are reading different. You know, everybody reads different.
I read
the thing is
constitutional lawyer.
The thing is, if it's for another person, I would have not take it. I don't want to take it from him.
The Supreme Court had already.
I don't want to take it from him.
The thing is, when they are doing
law,
all this, they take precedence.
You don't look at law in ISO. You don't look at law in isolation. Are you not saying that if they win in 35 states and they didn't win the FCT, you say they are not winning? Let's see how much will come. but a lot of issues still come beyond that. We still have the issue. The major problem I think we have, the constitution does not envisage, or the electoral does not envisage electronic voting. That's why they put 180 days. So I think that 180 days is in error.
Okay.
Because when you say 180 days, they would have sworn in the president. So they have to review the 10th National Assembly now. The first assignment they have on the Electoral Act is to review that Electoral Act. And no, it must be finished before the swearing in.
Okay, but there's no way it can be sworn because
It's very possible.
You must give them time.
No.
For them to.
The case of Ruto.
No, listen, but you saw that is Kenya. You are
yes, I'm taking you there. But it was within 7 days they give that judgment.
No,
so if they said
but
before,
in our case, you saw before the opposition parties could file in their petition.
That's what I'm saying.
It took time.
It's because of the 180 days.
They were even denied of going through.
It's because no 180 is like over 6 months.
Yes.
So the fact is that if they change the Electoral Act,
it's not. Have you forgotten doing Labour Party presidential candidate?
3 years. Yeah,
exactly.
No, we have not grown. We have not grown. No,
is it these are not even good? 3 years.
No, when you grow, we have seen electronic voting. I mean, electronic accreditation.
Because you know why I'm also in support, because they have to go through the process to see the irregularities and all what
may I ask you this question? The case of 25% expectation, does it need any?
No, that one does not. The other one was the result. Remember, INEC denied them to the two parties, the opposition party, denied them access to their servers.
So now,
even against court injunction,
like what I said on this beautiful program the last time, that let each political party have persons at the back end of their electronic voting.
Perhaps they should also include it.
If they include it, we have about 40-something political parties. All of them will be there. As this thing is trickling in, they are seeing it. So there will not be any irregularity. So the thing is, we must review the Electoral Act to say that the case must be concluded before the swearing in.
It still won't be possible.
It is possible.
We've always had our election.
Are you saying 2 months is not enough?
It's not enough. We've always had our election in February.
Yes.
And May 29th sacrosanct.
So February, March, April, May, Abba. A good judge, committed judge, elected, they must be able to do it. What about
done in the hall? That kind of judgment will be done.
Let's look at that's why I'm referring you back to Kenya. Within 7 days, there was judgment. Within 7 days.
But you know what happened after the judgment was given?
What happened?
That the main person who even happened to be, you didn't hear?
It was what's his name?
Dave, the person, just like maybe a person of INEC now came out after the judgment that actually, exactly, it was compromised. That it was this guy that actually won, but they did manipulated. But it was something that the Supreme Court already ruled. So that was the situation, and that was one now happened that not this one, in the other one. That's why they now Raila now became the prime minister.
In that case,
you understand? Came after, but the case has already been given. But why didn't you come now? Come before that time.
In that case, we
came after.
We can now take our election back.
You understand?
Our election cannot be December.
I agree with you.
Not February.
I agree with you. Not the one you rush for, because that was what happened to Kenya.
So
that was why you see that Raila was deprived of that, because the main guy did not come out during that time.
Without preempting.
He came after to now say he wants to confess that actually it was Raila that won.
Without preempting the Nigerian judges, I don't see them upturning the election, because you know that it's a serious firewall. You have to come with your own proof.
Yes.
And now, apart from the case of 25%, they also say that Shetima got a double nomination.
Yes.
That has gotten this. That sometimes the argument is still that it's a party issue, because remember in the case of this Senate president, what's his name? Ahmed. This Ahmed Lawal. Remember that all of us are thinking the other guy is going to be the one representing him. But the party have substituted his name to the INEC, and the party said they are supreme. It is whoever will gives you. You don't have business with the individual. You have to deal with and the party. At Supreme Court, it was given to Ahmed Lawal.
He drew flags from Nigerians.
So it's a big issue. So now that's why you must not look at court issue like moral issue. They are two different things. Depends on the argument of who is bringing the issue.
Yes,
so you must work on your argument. That's why I was even expecting PDP to come with some much more, genuine.
But they also did though.
They did,
You are not
but
looking at the result
I'm
part.
not. No,
The
I'm
result
looking
part.
at. I'm
They also
looking
have
at.
result part too. That is not the
I agree, but I'm
Yeah.
looking at Labour Party pushing more compared to PDP. Maybe they are more experienced. Maybe
you think
PDP.
so?
Maybe they are more experienced. Let's see what happens in the court.
Maybe I just feel that it depends on the evidence that they both have.
So that's just what we're
And
looking
it
at.
depends on both.
And one party has even withdrawn from
Okay.
the
On the
suit.
race.
I noticed one party has
All right, thank you so much. Just before we go, we have the Guardian, and we also have a Daily Independent. Please let's have Daily Independent on the screen. Daily Independent. Daily Independent says 22.7 naira 22.7 trillion naira ways and means loans securitization seen as mixed bag. I wonder what they mean by that.
It's quite a mixed bag. I follow. I'm a political economist, so
Yes.
we analyze economists a lot.
Yes.
I think Nigeria is in a tight problem because now we have actually abused a lot of things. There's what we call Financial Responsibility Act. It has been abused. There's what we call GDP to debt ratio. It has been abused. Our revenue to debt servicing has been abused. So now it's a serious mixed bag, and I would like to blame the National Assembly because you know that this money accumulated over time. So now what's the meaning of even ways and means? Ways and means simply means when you want to do budget, when you are doing budgeting and you just enter new year like this. Budget is expectation of income.
Yes.
So before you get that income, you rush to CBN. CBN give us so and so trillion or billion before the money comes. You will take advantage. Then when you get it now, you know do what you return. And the law now says that any money you must want to borrow the federal government, it must be 5% of the last budget. Now, if you calculate last budget of 2022, it is only 219 billion that the federal government have right to borrow. But they borrow 5.6 trillion. So that's a serious issue that Nigeria must look at. Then worry now see that this debt has increased a lot. There is no way I can pay this money. You now say convert it to a a bond of 40 years at 3 years moratorium. He has now pushed the problem to the president-elect. Let's go and solve the problem. Now we are in a big issue because you know that our recurrent expenditure is now even much more because debt servicing is part of recurrent.
Like we are using
96% of our revenue to service debt. So it's now more than, you understand. Now capital expenditure is only 7 trillion. And I don't think this current president that will start doing the budget because he was going to manage this budget, and I'm sure he will do supplementary budgets too. Yes, by the time it comes around, because now you need about 6 trillion to work on fuel subsidy. They say no fuel subsidy removal. So where will you get that money? So he now has to start doing his own budget from now. Immediately he might now. So now I'm now expecting how much he's going to give us as budget. Where we're going to get the capital budget, because I know that if he is not taking, most states will struggle to pay salary.
That is what Edo State governor said. That was what the Edo State governor.
So it's not a big issue.
And Additional was taking him apart. Except they print more money.
So let's now look at his economic team, because that's where the current administration got it wrong. They have the wrong economic team who cannot even decipher or envisage and plan appropriately. It first took him about 6 months to have ministers. That led us to recession. Now, when he came back, he had his National Economic Council headed by the vice president, who doesn't really have economic background. And you remember during Konjo, he was the Minister of Finance and coordinator of the economy. So they had a way of managing the economy, and you now have a rubber stamp CBN governor who always, because the CBN is one that is rubber stamp. That's why the marriage between president and CBN was so close and strong, because we always come and take the loan from you without any question. If you have respected the law of 5%,
we also had Minister of Finance that was always saying that yes, Nigeria can borrow, we can borrow, we still have a window to borrow.
The fact
that's what she kept saying.
The fact remains that borrow is not a problem, but you must not abuse your conditionalities. At what condition are you borrowing? We have abused all the conditions. I must tell you that Minister of Finance is not in good is not in good faith with CBN governor. Minister of Finance would have stopped CBN governor now. But CBN governor is saying, don't touch me, I have autonomy.
Yes.
Let me do what I am supposed to do.
That.
During the time of the Okodoweala, can CBN say that don't touch me? No. Because that is, Minister of Finance cannot be watching it happening like that. But Buhari is now having the relationship with CBN governor because it's allowed him to access those money. Now Nigeria is in serious problem. I don't know how, because a lot of people have been pushed to the incoming administration. First subsidy on him, debt on him. That's why they are rushing to even commission. Imagine Buhari trying to make sure he commission Dangote refinery. At what? Why don't you leave it May 22nd to May 20? Why don't you leave it and face your handover process?
So in a nutshell, what you just said, that the incoming government is going to be in a dire strait.
Serious issue. Is a booby trap for them.
Wow.
They have a lot of things that on their plate that I don't know how they are going to handle it. Unemployment is at 41%. Inflation is at 22%. Debt is at that level. I don't know if security has actually come down to an extent. It's a serious issue for him to bear, and I don't know. That's why he must start on a good note. He must start on a good note. If you don't start on it, we'll have a serious issue, because now they don't even have a lot of income. Revenue is the problem. So what do we do? So they have to go cap in hand and go and borrow again. That's the issue.
The outgoing government now is advising the incoming that it should quickly increase
tax. That's why they are increasing tax. And if you look at the tax they are increasing, it's on the wrong time too. Now you are increasing tax for excise duty. Now, don't you know that on the layman understanding, once you increase excise duty, manufacturer will find it difficult to produce. If they eventually produce, they will increase the price and people will not buy. And when people don't buy, it will reduce their production and unemployment is going to be alarming. So these are the things they are not looking at. You are expected to expand your tax net, not increase the tax at this point in time. So they are not. That's why I said Buhari at this point in time should just go on its own and leave this economic government to decipher and determine how they want to manage the economy. Even though you are making it more small war. We are begging for foreign direct investment and you are discouraging them. That's me.
Wow. You just broke it down to laymen who were not so conversant with these ways and means. So what it means is now that the Nigeria we have to pay
over 40 years. Yes, that's been he converted to bond. It was a smart one though, because he has think that there is no way they could pay that humongous 22.7 trillion. I said no, let's convert it to bond. You pay 9% every year for the next 40 years. With a 3 years moratorium. What does moratorium mean? Simply they will not pay anything for the next 3 years. So they will start paying after 3 years of it. So they want to free them so that no, we have planned it very well. However, the debt is on their neck. I don't know if there is what is called debt forgiven from CBN to federal government. Let's watch and see.
I just watch and see. God, you let us hang in on this note as we end today's Inside Nigeria. But just before we go, I just want a word on that. There's also in tandem with Dangote Refinery, leadership's sister publication, National Economy. Let's look at National Economy. National Economy says fuel subsidy to go or not go. License more modular refineries to reduce burden, experts tell incoming government.
It's a very good idea. Like I said, if you have like 30 modular refinery now,
you
if
just
you have 30 modular refinery,
yes,
if Lagos State has two, the good neighbor Anambra and Delta,
Lagos State has two with Dangote.
Yes, now, do you know how big that Lagos consumption is? And Dangote is for Nigeria, remember? It's not for Lagos. It's not for Lagos. So if Lagos to have to, Abuja, Abuja consume more too. Yes. Abuja have to. Good neighbor, Nasarawa and Makurdi have maybe one or two. Good neighbor. Delta and Asaba. That those close. Exactly. Bayelsa and his neighbor. If they have it like that, we will have less pressure. We don't have reasons to go. How many are we consuming? There is it's just they add more when we are exaggerating. Because another thing is that the minute Dangote refinery begins, we have to monitor the way we take oil across in India.
Mm.
That's the problem. You know, most of our neighbors, they are relying on our subsidy.
Yes, because
They are the
ours
one
is
even
cheaper.
enjoying the subsidy.
Subsidy, not us.
I've been to a lot of African countries. They buy their fuel at 1,300. So it's only Nigeria that we buy 195. I consistent. No, honestly, we have but we deserve it. We cannot have the oil in abundance and still suffering buying high. Saudi Aramco is doing it. They are doing it locally, producing locally and enjoying it locally. So I think it's for me to go or not to go is to go. Let it go.
Let it go.
Honestly.
Let it go. You've heard from our political economist and public affairs analyst, Aliu.
Elias.
Thank you so much. And of course, so impressed the way you broke that ways and means down. So that's where we end today's program. See, till I come your way again. Same time, same station tomorrow. I am Winifred. See you.
Leadership TV for God and country.